Well, at Florida State, our strength at times was our defensive line too. So we had certain schemes that we had designed that maybe put more pressure on them and less pressure on the secondary.
What are you going to be looking at when they get it out there on the field for the first time? Are there certain things you're going to be looking for right away?
Well, we've only had them for 15 days, so I still need to figure out what our strengths and weaknesses are and how we're going to adjust off of that. So the main thing that I'm going to be looking for is what the players can do and how we can use them.
I had 5 stops with Stoops, and how many times have you heard the words "the process," and what exactly does that mean in your mind?
Well, the process is day to day. It's not just the game. So we work on what we have to work on that day, and then we evaluate ourselves on that day. So when he says we're concentrating on the process and not the outcome, it's what did we do that day, or maybe that rep, or maybe that meeting to make ourselves better, and then the outcome will fall into place.
Is that something he's been preaching since you've known him, or is that a new thing?
No, he's been that way since I've known him. He's a day-to-day guy.
DJ, how do guys like Corey Brown and Miles Simpson fit into your defense, and what do you think they could do best to help you?
Well, I think that the two of those guys are different. One's bigger and one's a little bit smaller and more agile. But we've got ways to use both types of backers. We've got ways to use guys when we're playing heavy run teams, and we have ways to use backers when we're playing heavy pass teams. And both those guys have different skill sets.
Can you talk about your impression of Avery when you first saw him and what you see now, a few months later, having seen him on the field?
My first impression of Avery was, I think this guy's got the measurements. He's got the height, he's got the size, and then I saw him move around, and I said, okay, he's got some ability. But what really impressed me was when I saw how he interacted with the players and how seriously he took the game. I was only on the job, a few days, and he was already up in my office, wanting to learn the playbook. So I've been very impressed with his intangibles.
How healthy is Dante Rump, and as far as you can tell, and what kind of expectations do you have for him?
I think Dante's close, and we're expecting big things from him, and he'll be ready to go by the game.
Coach, what's your impressions of this area?
Of Lexington? Oh, I love it. It's been fantastic. My wife loves the community. Supposedly we have hot summers, but I haven't seen them yet. So, so we've loved the summer, and we've really enjoyed the off season. We partaked in all the Lexington and Kentucky, social life. We went to the Kentucky Derby. We went to Keeneland. My kids are in Little League sports, and it's been fantastic.
How much do you need? Obviously, Mark said he thinks they'll be here, but do you need those two guys who are kind of holding out on Lewis and Willis, especially in the secondary with him?
I think, we need everybody. And we're going to find what we have, and we're going to make our adjustments off of that, but we need everybody.
Coach, can you talk about each level of your defense and maybe what concerns you most at each spot?
Each level, I think the defensive line, like I've mentioned before, is the furthest along right now. And we just need to continue to get better and continue to develop more depth there. And then at linebacker, we've got to make sure that we're not only making plays, but the linebackers are the quarterbacks of the defense, so that they're making the right checks and the right adjustments. And then in the secondary, we need to improve fundamentally.
If you had to have one strength, is it always D-line that you would prefer to have the strength of the team?
No, I've coached on different teams where we had different strengths, but having 4 good defensive linemen is important. You don't have to cover somebody if they sack them. You know what I mean? So it goes a long ways.
Coach, what's been the biggest change for you from a position coach to a coordinator?
Well, I guess it's instead of being responsible for 8 guys, being responsible for 30-some guys. So just managing and being responsible for the entire defense has been a big change.
What do you hope Zadarius picked up over the summer? And what are you going to be looking for when you get out there on the field with him? See if he did something over the summer that shows you he has progressed.
I think Za'Darius, fortunately, was coached by Coach Brumbaugh at his junior college. So he kind of came in ahead of the rest of the group. So I'm hoping to see him even go to that next level. You know, I think you could tell in the spring that fundamentally he was ahead of the rest of the guys. But I want to see him even go to that next level where he becomes a great player.
Couple more, anybody? What is it, you've talked about Brumbaugh a lot, coaching the way that you and Stoops like to coach. What is it you like about his style, and what does he bring to the table?
Well, Coach Brumbaugh played at Auburn for a defensive line coach named Pete Jenkins, okay? And he's a legendary defensive line coach. And Coach Stoops and I got a lot of our techniques from him. And Coach Brumbaugh not only played for him, but was mentored by him. So that philosophy from Coach Jenkins is the same one that we wanted to put in here at Kentucky.
Last question. What are some of those philosophies? Like, what are the things that he does that you like or appreciate?
I think probably one of the biggest is that we coach our defensive linemen how to make plays. You know, when we were at Florida State, one of our leading tacklers was a defensive end. So those guys, you know, really concentrate not only executing their responsibility within the defense, but also how to get off a block and make a play.